The cloud forest of Monteverde stretched endlessly, its canopy swallowed in thick, rolling mist. Trees rose like cathedral spires, draped with orchids, ferns, and moss, their roots gripping the earth as if holding back the mountain itself. Mist swirled around Dr. Ana Solis as she stepped from the narrow dirt trail, notebook in hand, the scent of wet earth and wildflowers heavy in the air. Her heart thumped with a mix of awe and apprehension. This was not the quiet mountain of her childhood storybooks. This was alive, breathing, aware. Ana had grown up in San Jose, reading of the legendary Green Mountain where golden toads glimmered like coins on the forest floor and the trees seemed to drink the clouds themselves. The story had haunted her dreams, whispered to her of a place untouched by time. Now, standing here, she felt both a fulfillment and a tremor of unease, as though the mountain itself were appraising her. She was met by William Wright, the patriarch of the Quaker settlers, whose calm presence seemed to anchor the restless forest around them. His eyes, pale and steady, measured her, offering both welcome and caution. He handed her a tin cup of tea sweetened with condensed milk. "We try to live quietly with the forest," he said. "It gives more than we take." Sarah Wright, William's granddaughter, observed Ana from the porch of the small cabin. There was curiosity in her gaze, mingled with something like longing, an unspoken challenge, a test of who Ana truly was. Ana began her survey immediately, following the song of the golden toads to a secluded pond. Their skin shimmered like sunlight trapped in amber, concentrated in one strange, almost sacred patch of forest. She crouched low, pen moving, heart whispering that the forest was alive in more ways than one. By the end of her first month, mapping watersheds and cataloging frogs, Ana had stumbled into the dusty archives of Monteverde's municipal office. Moth-eaten folders and warped ledgers revealed one name that made her chest tighten. Rodrigo Vargas. Disappeared, 1951. Final notation, gone to the Green Mountain. And suddenly, the forest no longer felt magical, felt watchful. Ana returned to Monteverde with a restless energy she couldn't shake. The archives had left her with more questions than answers. Rodrigo Vargas's name haunted her thoughts like a shadow she couldn't outrun. The land he once owned, the very forest she now studied, was at the center of something much larger than frogs or orchids. The title deeds, yellowed and brittle, listed Vargas as the owner of the acreage where the golden toads congregated. But the transfer papers were missing, signatures absent, official records blank. By law, the land belonged to no one, or worse, to a ghost. When Ana approached William Wright for guidance, the elder's usual serenity faltered. A shadow passed over his pale eyes, and for a brief moment, the mountain seemed to lean closer, as if listening. "That was a long time ago," he said softly, his voice threading through the mist like a warning. In town, Ana felt the same subtle shift. Neighbors who once greeted her warmly now turned away, conversations stilled, eyes averted. The dairy cooperative's hum of life dimmed when she entered. Even the local shopkeeper, once chatty and kind, offered only curt nods. Suspicion lingered like the forest mist, thick and unyielding. Only one person remained willing to speak, Dona Elera, an elderly Tico woman living on the edge of the forest. Her home smelled of herbs, wood smoke, and rain-soaked earth. Her voice was a tremor of age and memory. "They came at night. Los amigos," she whispered. "Pacifists, yes, but desperate." She recounted the night Vargas disappeared. A violent argument near his mining claim, shouts muffled by mist, a heavy object striking stone. By morning, Vargas was gone. The Quakers expanded their farms. The golden toad breeding ground, Ana realized, lay atop the very soil where this struggle had erupted. Kneeling at the pond that evening, Ana let her fingers sink into the damp, dark earth. Felt unnatural, rich, almost chemically alive. Her heart hammered. The forest had been holding something, and now she had begun to sense its weight. Ana could no longer ignore the strange chemistry of the soil beneath the golden toad's breeding ground. She spent hours analyzing her samples, her hands trembling with a mix of excitement and dread. The results were clear: accelerated organic breakdown, unnaturally high nitrogen levels, and traces of fertilizer once used by the Quaker farmers decades ago. But beneath it all, a faint, almost imperceptible trace of gold dust shimmered under the microscope. Natural, unrefined, unequivocally human. Her thoughts spun. How could the forest preserve both life and a secret buried so long ago? She shared the findings with Sarah, who listened in silence, eyes widening. Sarah didn't cry. She didn't speak. But the subtle tightening of her jaw told Anna everything she needed to know. The trail ran deep, and some truths had been kept at a tremendous cost. That night, under a sky heavy with mist and rain, Anna and Sarah returned to the Golden Toad's pond. Lanterns in hand, they dug cautiously, feeling the soil give way beneath them. Every handful was damp, fertile, alive. They expected bones, signs of a long-forgotten tragedy. But instead, buried among tangled roots and rotting leaves, they unearthed a rusted mining pick. Faintly etched into the metal were the initials RV. Anna's stomach churned. This was no grave. This was a struggle frozen in time. Rodrigo Vargas had bled here, his presence lingering in the soil, mingling with life that had since flourished above him. Sarah's voice quavered. They swore never to harm anyone. Anna knelt beside her, tracing the pick's worn handle. Sometimes, she whispered, people break vows for reasons they believe are righteous. The next morning, a letter arrived from San Jose. A Vargas heir had filed a claim on the land. A law firm representative would soon arrive in Monteverde. Anna stared at the golden toads, glowing like coals in the mist. The past was no longer buried. It was clawing its way to the surface, and with it, the fragile peace of the forest. The entire Monteverde community gathered in the Quaker meeting house, the heavy scent of pine and candle smoke mingling with the dampness of the forest outside. Silence stretched taut between the rows of benches, thicker than any sermon Anna had ever heard. The mist from the mountains curled against the windows, blurring the line between the forest and the sanctuary, as if the trees themselves had crept inside to witness what was about to unfold. William Wright rose from the front bench, shoulders stooped with age, yet carrying the weight of decades of secrecy. His hands, pale and veined, gripped the edges of the wooden podium. The room leaned forward in anticipation, every eye on him, every heartbeat echoing like the pulse of the forest outside. He began to speak, voice low but unwavering. Vargas had discovered a vast, undocumented gold vein, rich enough to alter the fate of the mountains and the people who lived there. He intended to sell it to a foreign mining company, one that would have stripped the forest bare, poisoned the streams, and destroyed the very ecosystem Anna had come to study and revere. The Quakers had tried reason. They had protested, pleaded, and even attempted non-violent intervention. But Vargas laughed. The confrontation had escalated, unintended, inevitable. In the chaos, Rodrigo Vargas fell, striking his head on the stone near his claim. He was dead before dawn. Panic had followed. The body was hidden in a shaft deeper in the mountain, documents forged to legitimize the Quaker stewardship. They had built schools, farms, and preserved the forest, all upon the foundation of a secret sin. For 20 years, William said, voice cracking, we have saved what he would have destroyed. We have preserved thousands of species, protected watersheds, but we broke our vow. Anna felt the room tilt under the weight of his words. Outside, distant thunder rolled across the mountains. Tomorrow, the law firm representative would arrive. The Vargas heir wanted the land, and the gold hidden beneath it. And now, the secret was no longer theirs alone. Dawn broke over Monteverde, and the mist hung low, weaving through the trees like restless spirits. Anna stood alone at the edge of the Golden Toad Pond, water glimmering with the orange glow of the rare amphibians. The forest was alive, every leaf, branch, and droplet whispering secrets centuries old. She breathed in the damp, sweet air, tasting both wonder and unease. If she exposed the truth, the consequences would ripple like a storm. Courts would dissect the land, corporate interests would awaken, and the fragile forest she had come to love might fall to machinery and greed. Yet if she remained silent, the weight of Vargas's death, the lie that preserved paradise, would rest on her conscience. A killing, a vow broken, a secret kept for the sake of the forest. Sarah joined her, soft footsteps on the mossy ground. Her eyes, reflecting the golden toad's fire, held a quiet wisdom. Grandfather says truth is sacred, she said, but so is life. Anna nodded, the truth settling into her chest like a stone. There was no perfect choice, only consequence. She had studied life in all its fragile glory, and now she understood. Sometimes justice was not about revelation, but preservation. When the law firm representative arrived, Anna handed over her findings on the golden toads, the forest, the watershed, but nothing more. She said nothing of the pickaxe, the soil anomaly, or the shaft hidden deeper in the mountain. Instead, she proposed a radical solution. The land be declared a permanent biological reserve under national protection. The Vargas heir could receive compensation. Mining rights would be frozen. The forest would survive. Years later, Monteverde thrived as a beacon of conservation. Scientists arrived from around the globe, drawn by its richness. Yet, despite careful protection, the golden toads began to decline mysteriously. Climate shifts, subtle patterns changed. The mountain breathed differently now. Anna, older, stood in the mist, eyes tracing the rolling canopy. The forest had been saved from gold, but not from time. Deep in the abandoned shaft, the skeleton remained, and the mountain remembered. Secrets, like rivers, always found their way back. Monteverde was alive, and its story was far from finished.